Hello everyone, my name is Sharice. I'm a licensed educator for the state of North Carolina. I'm also a licensed esthetician, and today I'm going to show you guys how to pack your Stateboard bag. We are now in the year 2022, so this year you are in, then this video is current with the North Carolina Stateboard Practical. All right, so we are going to start with our client one bag. So by now, if you don't know, okay, your Stateboard is based off of two clients. So your client one is just going to be the basic facial, and then your client two is going to be your waxing, your tweezing, and your makeup in your client two, okay? So we have both of those clients separated into two bags. So first is our client one bag, and I'm going to show you exactly everything that should be in your client one bag. So first, I'm kind of just going to start by taking everything out, and as I put everything back in the bag, I'll tell you exactly what I have. All right, so for your client one bag, of course, you are going to need all of your facial supplies. So you can put your facial supplies in either a disposable portion cup. You can use these samples that come directly from your manufacturers, or you can use these little travel bottles. I prefer the travel bottles just because when you use the facial products for Stateboard, they can't be considered single-use items. I see that when a lot of people use portion cups, they tend to throw the portion cup in the trash, but it would actually need to go into items to be disinfected. So either use real products or use these travel bottles, because mentally this will help you better for your test. So I have my toner, and your toner doesn't have to have any color in it. It can just be water. So there's just water in this bottle. I have my cleanser. Okay, this is simulated cleanser, so it's literally just some shampoo in here. I have my exfoliant. Your exfoliant should have some type of, it should be like a granular scrub. So this is just shampoo, and then I have some brown sugar in it, so to give that exfoliant effect. I have my massage oil here. I have my mask. Your mask should have a color to it, and the color should show on your mannequin. If the mask is translucent, then they'll take points off. So just make sure that you choose a mask with color. A blue mask works really, really well on your mannequin, and then also those charcoal masks. You can also get that from Dollar Tree. I have my moisturizer / SPF. Moisturizer SPF can be the exact same bottle. You don't have to have two separate bottles for that. And then lastly, I just have a bottle filled with water to put in my bowl. You can also use the little baby bottled waters, little 4-ounce waters. I don't recommend using the full 16-ounce bottle because it would take up too much space. But this, the little 2-ounce travel bottle, you can just fill this up with water. I also have a bowl, okay? This is the only bowl that you need, okay? You just need a small bowl. Do not get a big bowl. The reason why, one, is gonna take up too much space. Secondly, you do not need a lot of water in this bowl, okay? You only need to fill it up to about right here, because when you are in your Stateboard, there's no sink, okay? So there's nowhere for you to actually pour your water out. You have to be able to soak it up with a paper towel. So this small bowl is perfect, and then you won't even fill this up with water, just a little bit of water in this bowl. So I have my bowl in here. All right, next I'm going to have my 2 fan brushes. So in here I have 2 fan brushes and my exfoliating brush, okay? So these are gonna be the tools you need for your basic facial in client one. So 2 fan brushes and 1 exfoliating brush. Just make sure that your brushes are visibly clean, because they will come by and look to make sure you're using clean, sanitized implements. You'll also need some 4x4s. So these 4x4s are going to represent your sponges. So your 4x4s, you'll use these to remove product from your mannequin, remove your fake makeup off your mannequin, so forth and so forth. Then you'll have some 2x2s in here for toning, because remember, we tone after each step, so you have 2x2s for toning. And then we also have 2 empty portion cups in here. So why do we have 2 empty portion cups? So you need an empty portion cup for your exfoliant, and you need an empty portion cup for your mask. So remember, these products do not represent single-use products, okay? They represent your back bar. So if you were in a real salon, you would have a portion cup to dispense your mask into and to dispense your exfoliant into, because you need to use a portion cup to apply those products to your client's face, okay? So these portion cups would go in the trash, and your bottle labeled mask or exfoliant would go into items to be disinfected. All right, and then I like to kind of keep these items in a separate bag. So that way, when I go to lay everything out, it's still in a clean closed container until I get ready to use it. Then I also like to use the blue paper towel for my table cover. So I'll kind of have everything set down like this, and then I have a place to lay my things that is clean and neat. And I also have my mannequin drape and a headband. So let me show you how I like to drape my mannequin for my skateboard. All right, so I like to keep it pretty simple. The easier you make this for you, it becomes muscle memory, so it's super, super easy to pass your test, I promise. I've been teaching Stateboard for a couple years now, and I have never had a student fail, and everybody has passed with at minimum an 88. I've even had students get a 99, okay? So if you follow this packing technique, I promise you, you will not fail. So I like to lay my towel down just like this. I'm gonna turn my mannequin around, and then I'm just gonna drape it over, okay? So I technically here, that's not supposed to be there. Okay, so I technically here, I have my sheet for my mannequin to lay on. I have my cover right here. And then I have my headband that I'll put on my mannequin. And then I have a little access hanging over the table. So this is gonna represent the towel that I can dry my hands off on if I need to. So literally one towel took the place of 3 towels. So make your life simple, not hard. Okay, the test is already gonna be stressful enough. So you wanna make this process as simple for you as possible. All right, so I'm just going to put these things back in. All right, and then I also have my pair of gloves in here that I'll be using for the facial as well. All right, and then that was my client 1 bag. So simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, I promise. All right, so that was our client 1. All right, so next, let's talk about our client 2 bag, okay? So client 2, your client 2 is going to be your simulated soft wax and tweezing and facial makeup. That's your client 2 bag. All right, so in my client 2 bag, I still have that same drape and headband for my mannequin. So I'm gonna drape it the exact same way how I just showed you in client 1. I also have that blue paper towel in here for my table cover, and you don't have to use blue paper towel. This is just my preference. I've seen a lot of clients use the dental bibs. You can get a lot of those off of Amazon. I think you get like a pack of 500 for like $5. You can use another towel if you would like. You can use paper towel, you can use wax paper. You just need to have something on the table that's clean to set your items and implements on, okay? All right, so next I have everything that I need for waxing and tweezing, okay? So in here I have my astringent, okay? This is going to be what I use to cleanse my client's brows. I have my post-epilation, okay? So post-epilation, post means after, okay? So this is what I'm going to use after I wax. I have my pre-epilation, pre is before. So your pre-epilation should be a powder, and we know that powder is used as an absorbent material to make sure the brows are dry before the waxing application. Then I have my simulated soft wax. You can use honey, you can use cornstarch, just whatever you use, just make sure that it's something that can spread. But the wax portion is simulated, so please do not bring a real wax pot to Stateboard. If you break it, you're not gonna be able to use it because there's nowhere to plug that up. So your wax is simulated. I also have a couple of 2x2s in here, okay? So I'm going to use my 2x2s to cleanse the brows, apply my powder, my pre-epilation, apply my post-epilation, which can be an aloe or an oil. So make sure you have enough 2x2s to get you through the tweezing and the waxing portion, okay? I also have wax strips. So you really only need 2 wax strips, but I usually pack 4 just in case. So you have 1 wax strip to remove the wax off of your wrist when you test, and then you have another wax strip for your client. And remember, for this, you only have to do 1 brow, and you can just do the top for the waxing portion. I also have my wax sticks in here. Again, you only need two, one to test the wax and one to wax your client, but I usually pack 4 just in case, because sometimes we get nervous, our hands get sweaty, and those buttery fingers might take into effect. So it's good to have a few extra just in case. I also have a mascara wand in here. You do not have to brush your brows with a mascara wand, but if it's something that you're used to doing, okay, it can help you with the process, and it can also help you remember your steps. So I like to include a mascara wand just because when I actually do a client in real life, I do brush the brows to get the hairs in the right direction before I wax. So having this extra little tidbit on hand can help you along the way. And then I also have my tweezers for the tweezing portion, okay? So this is everything that you will need for your waxing and tweezing section. And I have everything in one bag. So remember, make it easy for yourself, not hard. So let me put all these items back in the bag. All right, next we have makeup. So I feel like the makeup section kind of intimidates people a lot because let's face it, okay, everybody isn't a makeup artist. You know, we all don't do makeup. I've been an esthetician for a couple years now, and makeup is probably my weakest point when it comes to aesthetics. But even when I took my state board, I still passed my state board with a 99. And the great thing about the state board is that your makeup doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be applied safely. And it needs to be applied with infection control, okay? That's it. They don't care how it looks. It does not have to look like your client just walked down a runway, okay? It just needs to be on there, and it just needs to be on there safely, okay? That is all. So when you are doing the makeup portion, okay, try not to stress out too much about how it looks. Just focus more so on that, 1, you put it on safely, and 2, you applied your makeup in the right order. Because with the state board, you do have to apply your makeup in a certain order. All right, so let's go through everything that we need here, right? So foundation. So we are going to go through everything that we have in the order that it needs to be applied. So foundation, of course, is the first thing that you will apply to your mannequin, okay? Now, when you are getting a foundation, you wanna make sure that your foundation is the exact same color as your mannequin, okay? Think about it. If you wear foundation, don't you get a color that's the same color as your skin? Yes, you do, okay? So the same concept with your mannequin. If you go to Dollar Tree, okay, get the color number 1. There's also a color called porcelain. That's your color, okay? $1.25. Do not use no MAC or no fancy makeup for this mannequin, especially foundation that you'll never use again. So just get all your makeup from Dollar Tree, or hopefully your school was nice enough to provide the things that you needed. But if not, you can get this from Dollar Tree. So we have our foundation. That's the first thing that we are applying to our mannequin. Then next is powder, okay? So same thing, just get a powder that's similar to the same shade as your mannequin. You'll need a blush. You can do kind of like a pinkish blush just so it can show, but you'll need a blush. And again, all these things came from the dollar store. All right, so we have foundation, powder, blush, okay? That's the order. And the easiest way I remember is full face, eyes, lips, okay? So we just did the full face. Now we need to get our eyeshadow, okay? So again, eyeshadow palette from Dollar Tree. Eyeliner from Dollar Tree. And even though this pencil is a little dull, when you go to state board, you do not have to sharpen your pencil in state board. Oops. But you should go in state board with your pencil freshly sharpened to represent a clean, sanitized pencil. You'll also need mascara. Okay, and you'll need a lip color, okay? Just make sure your lip color is actually a color, so like a red, a purple, something that'll actually be seen, okay? You don't wanna do like a clear gloss. Just make sure your lip color is an actual color. All right, so that's literally all the makeup products that you need. The next thing that you'll need is a makeup palette, okay? So you have to dispense all of your products in a makeup palette, but the catch is you can only dispense them one at a time as you need them. So for an example, we always start with our foundation first, correct? Yes, we do. So you'll put your foundation in your palette, you'll use your foundation, now you're done. Then you'll scrape your powder in your palette, use your powder, now you're done. Then you'll scrape your blush and so forth and so forth. So only one product at a time. All right, so with me, I always tell my students don't worry about using real makeup brushes. If you want to, you can, but real makeup brushes do tend to be a little bigger and they do take up more space. And you'll see when you get to Stateboard, your table space is very limited. So you probably have from about right here where my arm is to here, okay? And your mannequin has to be directly in the middle of the table. And they'll have tape markings on the table for you so you know exactly where to place everything. But I find it easier just to use disposables. So I always pack a stack of cotton rounds, and the cotton rounds can be used for a couple different things. So you can use the cotton round to blend the foundation onto your mannequin. You can use the cotton round to use your pressed powder, and you can also use the cotton rounds for blush. Okay, so you can use cotton rounds, you can use cotton, 2x2s, you can use cosmetic wedges, but make it easy on yourself. Okay, you'll also need a mascara wand for that mascara because you can't use the wand that comes with your mascara because that would be considered contamination of your product. So remember, we are focusing on infection control. So you will need to use a separate disposable mascara wand to apply mascara on your client. And just remember, do not double dip that. So make sure you have two. All right, we have Q-tips here. So Q-tips can be used to apply your eyeshadow. They can be used to apply your lip color, okay? So Q-tips, again, good old Dollar Tree. All right, and then get you a couple of sticks. I only have 3 here, but you should at least have a total of 6 or 7. And these, you use the sticks to scrape your products into your palette. So you get to scrape your eyeshadow, scrape your powder, so on and so forth. So this is what these sticks are for. All right, and then that was your makeup. So that was your client 2 bag. All right, so that was client 1 bag and client 2 bag. All right, next you will need a steam towel bag, okay? And in your steam towel bag, you'll have 2 steam towels. So your steam towel to use during your facial, and you really only need 1 steam towel, but I like to pack 2 for good measures. So you have to use the steam towel to either remove your exfoliant or remove your mask, but I tell my students to use it for both because those are kind of the 2 trickiest things to remove off your mannequin, and the steam towel makes it easier. Now, don't forget to make sure that you wring your towel out and then you test your steam towel on your wrist before you apply it to your client, okay? That's what's going to demonstrate that safety, okay? So don't forget that. So 2 steam towels in a bag, and they need to be wet when you walk in the Stateboard, okay? You cannot take no dry towels in there. Make sure they're wet. They do not have to be warm, okay? They know your towels aren't going to be hot, but they should be wet in a Ziploc bag. All right, next we have our universal bag. So universal bag is pretty light. So in my universal bag, I have 2 paper towels in here just so I can soak up that water out of my facial bowl in client 1. I have extra supplies just in case I were to drop something on the floor. So I have extra wax sticks. I have some cosmetic wedges, 2x2s, 4x4s, mascara wand, so forth and so forth. So extra supplies just in case I need them. Better to be safe than sorry. I also have some more gloves in here, okay? You should have extra gloves. So you can have gloves for when you disinfect your table. If you tear your glove when you're switching from clients, okay, you'll need gloves. At least pack a total of 8 to 10 gloves just to be on the safe side. And then I also have my first aid kit, okay? This first aid kit came from Dollar Tree, okay? So this is what you will use. Make sure you do not bring in a bag that says blood spill kit. It cannot say that. It needs to say first aid kit. So the safest bet is to get this from Dollar Tree. And this has everything you need. It has your alcohol wipes, your Band-Aids in it. It even has gauze if you were taught to use gauze. Now, one thing that your first aid kit doesn't come with is gloves. So just make sure you open it and put a single pair of gloves in your first aid kit so you'll be ready for Stateboard. Because you do have to have a pair of gloves in your first aid kit now. At one point in time, they didn't care as long as you had gloves, but since they require it in the salons now, they are requiring it for Stateboard. So just make sure that you have gloves. All right, so that was our universal. Next, you should have your 3 bags. So you should have your trash, you should have your soiled linen, you should have your items to be disinfected, and these bags should have liners in them. And I find it really easy to staple the liner to the bag so your bag isn't falling down while you're taking your test. And you also want to make sure that you write items to be disinfected on both sides of the bag. The same thing with soiled linen and trash. That way you can see it and your proctor can see it as well. You want to make sure that you have a clean mannequin head. She's been through a few things, but if your mannequin does have spots on it, you want to order a brand new one for your state board. So you go in with a clean mannequin. Now they do sell these mannequin heads on Amazon for $9.99, at least when I looked yesterday. And they also have it for 1-day shipping. Now don't order the day before you pushing it, but you can definitely order you a new mannequin and it's affordable. And then you also need your barbicide wipes. So today, my barbicide wipes are simulated, okay? But for state board, now you do have to have the real barbicide wipes or an EPA registered disinfectant, okay? And then you also need a single pair of gloves in a bag to the side and a hand sanitizer. And I'm going to show you what to do with these right now. So now I'm going to show you how to actually assemble your things in your bag. So I prefer my students use a duffel bag. 1, it doesn't take up a lot of space, and 2, it's a little easier to stay organized. When you go on your state board, you'll see some students, they'll have the drawer, some have some totes. Don't worry about that, okay? Just get you a duffel bag, and I promise you, they're gonna be struggling with their drawers and their totes, and you're gonna be just fine, okay? So let me show you exactly how to put the items in your bag to make your life easier during your test. So the first thing that I like to put down in my bag is my client 2 bag. The reason why is because my client 2 is something that I use last, okay? So I don't need this to be at the top. So my client 2 bag goes in first on the bottom. Now, next beside my client 2 bag, I'm gonna go ahead and throw my bag of steam towels in there. On top of my steam towels, I'm gonna put my universal bag. And then beside my universal bag, on top of my client 2, I'm gonna put my client 1. So I literally have everything in my bag in the order that I need to pull it out, okay? So like I said, okay, you're gonna have 3 proctors looking at you. So you wanna make this easy as possible, and you wanna get to a point where if you forget something to do or if you get too nervous, you can rely on your muscle memory. Just think about it. You're really, really tired, you just got off work, you made it home, you don't know how you got there, okay? That's that muscle memory that kicked in because your brain is used to that process. So we're using that same concept here as we pack our state board bag for our test. All right, so I have all of my bags in here. The next thing I'm going to put in here is that single barbicide wipe, the barbicide wipe and the single pair of gloves, okay? That's going to go in. Then I'm gonna take my mannequin head and I'm just gonna kind of tuck that in on the side here. I'm gonna put my 3 bags on top of that. And then I'm gonna put my hand sanitizer on inside the bag. Okay, so let me tell you why I did it this way, because I know this is a very untraditional way to pack your bag, but let's think about it. So you're doing your test, right? You unzip your bag. The first thing you do is what? Sanitize your hands, correct? All right, so you got your hand sanitizer, sanitize your hands. The next thing you do is take out your bags, set your bags up underneath the table. All right, your hand sanitizer is out. You can sanitize your hands again. The next thing you need to do is disinfect your table. So now I have that single pair of gloves and my barbicide wipes. So now I can disinfect my table and proceed. So see, muscle memory kicks in. So I promise you, it seems stressful, okay? It seems like it's a lot, but I promise you, if you do it this way, it'll be easy. Thanks for watching. I wish you the best of luck, and you got this.